But during the presentation of graduates, we encourage you to express your pride by applauding and cheering. It's time to stand and welcome the class of 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing as the class of 2019 leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. It's an honor to introduce our Board of Education. We have different board members here with us tonight. In the first seat in the first row, we have Mr. Greg Hoff. Mrs. Ruth, I just blanked out. Henry. How did I miss that? Mrs. Ruth Henry. We have our superintendent, Mrs. Lori DiCarlo. I'm going to skip our keynote speaker because he has his own introduction. And we have Dr. Bob Olzak. And it's an honor right now to invite Mr. Hoff to come on up and say a few words of welcome.
Welcome to all the families of our graduates, our alumni, honored guests, teachers, staff, administration, and members of the Board of Education on this 25th graduation ceremony for Randolph Academy. The Randolph campus held their first graduation in 1995 at our Hamburg campus in 2012. We're glad you could join us today as we celebrate this milestone for our graduates today. We're proud of these young people that are setting before us. They have worked hard to reach this point in their lives. There have been obstacles along the way, I'm sure you know. Right? There always are for all of us. Then there are special people who come along to help us. For many of you, this could have been a fellow classmate, it could have been a special teacher, it could have been a mentor. Some have been there for your journey through the years, and others have stepped up to help when you needed the help the most. Whoever it was, to be grateful that your path was crossed. Now, you're going into the next phase of your life. It could be on to college, or your first job, the military, or specialty school. Wherever the road leads, take with you all the good that you've gained here at Randolph, and be proud of what you've accomplished. Look for ways to share what you've learned with others as your journey in life continues.
And And at this time, I'd like to ask Mrs. DiCarlo to come up and introduce our keynote speaker. Oh, the class address. I'm sorry, Zane. That was just a little joke. It's my pleasure to introduce the 2019 Senior Class President, Annie Packelmeyer, to give the class address. We just wanted to show you we're not perfect, and we don't think we're perfect, and that's okay.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome Board of Education members, Superintendent Ms. DiCarlo, Principal Dr. Cawley, professional and support staff of Randolph Academy, family members, and friends of the class of 2019. It is my pleasure to address all of you as the speaker of Randolph Academy's class of 2019. I was doing a lot of thinking in terms of how to start with reflecting on our senior year. When looking back at my education, I realized that normative culture has a major impact on me in terms of shaping my character. It has helped my classmates and I get to this important part of our lives, and will help us get much farther in life. Randolph Academy norms are respect, goal-directed, classroom is sacred, responsibility, and safety. It has taught me so much about life. One of the major things that Randolph Academy has taught me was how to set goals and achieve them in a timely manner. Setting goals keep me motivated to achieve many things throughout my high school career, and it will continue to do so as I move on to the next step in my life in hopes of obtaining a degree in Human Services or JCC. Normative culture has also taught me to be responsible and take accountability for my actions as well. If I don't turn in an assignment on time, my grades will be impacted, and so I need to take accountability for that. Being able to take accountability for things only makes a person stronger and helps them learn more about life and about themselves. One of the greatest things that I will take away from my experience at Randolph Academy is my sense of leadership. After a while, I became the president of the Timberwolves, a very noble task indeed. I was required to plan and organize meetings and help out with all the services, activities that the Timberwolves participated in. I must add, Randolph Academy does a great job on providing opportunities for the students to serve others. We help out in the community by doing various things such as volunteering work for the SPCA in Jamestown. We have a mentoring program within our school that links Timberwolves and pledges to help the other pledges become Timberwolves in a timely fashion. And we build school spirit by organizing spirit weeks. Knowing that I was the leader behind all these things gives me a great sense of pride and belief in myself. I am confident that I can guide others and lead them to have a good future because of it. Now, it wouldn't be right to address if I didn't address my fellow classmates, Dylan, Joey, and Sam. We definitely had some great memories this year, such as the time we jumped over the Grand Canyon, the ditch behind the school with Mr. McChesky, or the time when Joey would give people rides in a wheelchair when she was recovering from an injury, or a trip to Putt-Putt in Jamestown, in our last field trip to Jane. These were fun times for sure, but the meaning behind this speech is that we are ready to take on challenges that the world will put in front of us. We are prepared to be successful members of society because of Randolph Academy has taught us how to prepare. Again, normative culture has taught each of us how to be strong human beings. As this chapter of my life comes to an end, I am happy when I look to the future knowing that I will be attending college next year at Jamestown Community College. I would also like to take some time to thank some people who have guided us to this point in our life, because knowing that we have made it to this point, it shows that we are successful. Thank you to Ms. Terry for all the guidance, all of your guidance throughout the year, Mr. Carlo and Dr. Polly and Ms. Johnson for all the support. Thank you to all the counselors who have helped us by getting us through the hard times and guiding us. Thank you to all of the teachers and support staff for being there every day for us, teaching us many things. And thank you to all of you who are here tonight to celebrate with us. And to end, thank you to my fellow classmates in 2019 for all the memories. I wish all of you the very best in the future, and always remember to be respectful, make goals, and know that life is sacred, be responsible, and be safe. Thank you.
Lane, great speech. It was a gift to all of us. Thank you. I'm Lori DiCarlo. I'm the superintendent of Randolph Academy, and it is my honor to introduce our commencement speaker, Mr. Daryl Varlack Butler. Graduates, I invite you to listen closely. Mr. Varlack Butler is someone who understands what it's like to face challenges in life and overcome them. In many ways, his story is your story. We met Mr. Varlack Butler last summer in New York City when we attended some restorative justice training, and a team from Randolph Academy attended. Over the course of the week, our respect for him grew deep. Daryl Varlack Butler is co-founder of Worth Shop, Inc. He is a former wellness specialist on the New York City ACT team, which is often called a hospital without walls. The team provides outpatient treatment for people with severe cases of mental illness. He holds 2 graduate degrees, one from Fordham University in social work, and the other from the New York Theological Seminary in Professional Studies, with a focus on urban ministry, ethics, and pastoral counseling. He holds a bachelor's degree from Nyack College in Organizational Management. While at Fordham, he traveled to Haiti with an international social work development class to study the resiliency of a culture that has been devastated by disasters, global discrimination, and social mapping. Mr. Varlack Butler has volunteered with the Beck Institute and mentors boys in the Bronx area of the New York City school system. He's a skilled clinician who uses evidence-based strategies to counsel, educate, empower, and help people to overcome situations, circumstances, and injuries to build lives of quality, happiness, and meaning. He's known for challenging all to be their beautiful self. The past does not define nor imprison people when people forgive and choose to live. In his personal life, Mr. Varlack Butler is a son, father, and grandfather. Please join me in giving him a warm Randolph Academy welcome.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome. I want to thank you again for this opportunity to come and be the commencement speaker this year, class of 2019. I also want to thank Superintendent Howard. I want to thank Dr. Howard. I want to thank the Board of Directors for the great work that they're doing in believing in our future, one child at a time. This is truly significant, and I hope that each one of you really feel it and take a moment. I would like to ask you three to please stand for a moment. Can you take hands? It's not church. It's just a moment for you to exhale and realize how connected that you are in the journey that you have undergone. You're champions. Your bounce back game is phenomenal. Do you hear me? Your bounce back game is phenomenal. Each one of you know what you have overcome and the greatness that awaits you from the things you will do. Can we please give me a warm welcome? Now, you can continue to stand or you can sit. It's your day and have it your way. I'm here today because of a path that I took. Let me share. It was a path that started out not ideal either. When I was growing up, I never met my grandmother, my grandfather, those relatives. My biological father was never even in my life either. I was born in Harlem at a time when things were really, really hard. My grandmother brought her 7 children here from the Virgin Islands, and she died shortly after. My mother was 13 when my mother died. She worked her way off of welfare. She worked her way through school to get a college degree and become a social worker. And she cared for her family as best she could. Throughout all her efforts, that still left me vulnerable. It still left me in a place to be distracted and yet continue to try to do my best too. As far back as I can remember, the first instances of school that I had, I remember I was locked in a school, a classroom. I guess I was a typical boy. I don't remember doing nothing wrong, right? We don't do nothing wrong, right? But at that time, those who were in care of me, they locked me in the room. And I remember that. And it stood with me a long time. And it took me time to be able to realize that sometimes there are times in our life when we need those who care about us to act in our best interest, even if we don't understand. You see, initially I did not do good in school. The credentials I have today, 2 master's degrees, bachelor's degree, associate's degree, and all the other trainings that I've gone, does not bespeak of where I come from and what I overcame. You see, I suffered from what they call low self-esteem. I had 2 sisters. One, rest in peace, who passed. But they in school, they excelled, man. My sisters, man, they excelled. Maybe it's something about many times the girls versus the boys. But they were able to focus. One of my sisters, she was skipped twice. They ended up giving her a scholarship and she went away to a Quaker school in Pennsylvania, George School. My other sister, she excelled too. And then there was Daryl, right? There was Daryl. By the time I got to class and the teachers would see me and my behaviors, right? They say, "You Helen's brother?" Right? Like, what happened to you? I was on fire. I couldn't sit still. I've always had that energy, that energetic, vibe and spirit, fun going and laughing. However, it oftentimes led me into trouble. And I needed help. I needed someone to care for me. And what I can say is that at each step of my journey, somehow, miraculously, there was someone that appeared at the right time. Early in life, my mother met a man, my pops. He was my Joseph. I don't believe in stepfather, step anything, because he stepped in and he loved me. That man loved me. It still tears me up today. If I become a little tearful, please forgive me or embrace me. It's just my humanity. I'm sharing with you that it's okay. But every time he looked at me, he spoke love on me. He spoke hope in me. And he was there for me. Much to the way I believe and I feel in this school that the administrators and teachers have done for you. When you needed someone, someone was there. And you hold that. I need you to hold that in your heart. That there will always be someone, somewhere that you can turn to in your time of crisis. My parents taught me what I've been to identify the 4 talents. These talents are integrity, intelligence, hard work, and compassion. It was the 4 talents that guided me throughout the journey in trying to right many wrongs that I made and decisions. And that is how I ended up where I did at the right time, the right moment, where I met Mr. DeCarlo, Mrs. DeCarlo, who invited me here. Early in life, I was that guy in school, right? We always find a place where we're safe at, especially when we feel alone and isolated. For me, it was the basketball court. Right? I would always say basketball and my dog was my 2 friends. They was my 2 friends. They were the ones that I could turn to. They was the one that had my back 100%. In fact, I was Steph Curry before there was a Steph Curry, right? I had a jump shot that wouldn't stop. I mean, that looked like it now, because I got a little stuff here, but I want you to know that guy is still in there. And he keeps me comfort at times to remember that greatness was inside me, in spite of some of my behaviors that were exhibited. Now here's the thing, with all that I did have, all my parents taught me, I still fell. You see, as a teen, I didn't listen. And in high school, I became promiscuous. And my girlfriend, who was a cheerleader, she became pregnant. I had offered scholarship basketball scholarships, and I turned them down. Again, the 4 pillars: integrity, intelligence, what's the other one? Hard work, compassion. My integrity said that I had to forego my own dreams because of the actions in creating a life. The strong mother I had said, well, if you're not going to school, you're going somewhere, but you're not staying out here to get in trouble. This is how parenting was, and I still believe it is today. So she forced my directions into the Army. And so even though I went into the Army, it was a good plan. How many people know that even when you have a good plan, things do not always go as planned? And so while I had the best intentions, I was not mature and responsible. I didn't even understand what it was to be in a real relationship. I was still a kid. I was, 18 years old? Only thing I knew how to do was shoot jump shots, right? My father said he used to be able to drop me on any block and I could just get along and make friends. That was never a problem. Being able to relate was an issue for me. So eventually, my wife took my son, because we did get married, and she left. That kind of broke my heart. I think we all can identify what it is like to have something that you really need to hold on to, right? You see, one of the things, I made a commitment to myself at an early age, but not knowing my father, was that I was going to be there for my son if I had one. And I had failed because she took me left. I eventually got out the service, and when I returned, she was in a relationship with someone else. The altercation ensued. I ended up hitting her head with a bat, and the horrific act cost me 25 years in prison. It landed me in a very isolated place. During those years, I was surrounded by what society would call the worst of the worst, in hopelessness and despair. I was told that I was one of them. I think we all have had points in our lives where people spoke things on us that wasn't true. They told us we'd never amount to nothing. Right? But that wasn't the truth. I remembered the 4 talents, and it carried me through. that darkest moment of my life. I held on to integrity and worked on being my beautiful self in a place where they said beautiful didn't exist. I used my intelligence to see myself out of the mess I found myself in by enrolling in school. While I was in that place, I was able to obtain an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, and master's degree. I created programs for the hopeless and dead. I was bent on destroying the prison system from the inside out. By helping others like myself reclaim that beautiful and that promise of a future that bad decisions had landed us in. I committed myself to hard work by being present. I began asking hard questions. Some of the hard questions we find ourselves in life asking is, how did I get here? Right? We find ourselves in a situation saying, how did I get here? This is not how my life was supposed to be. I also began to look for support systems of others who felt like me. And I can tell you, they were there too. There was men who felt just like I did. There were men who had been beat up and they didn't have a father. They was exposed to violence, betrayals. They was exposed to so many ills that impacted the poor decisions that they made at that time. But that was not the sum and substance of who they were. The same as it's not you. Lastly, I held compassion for myself, something that I had never done. People really don't know, or we don't care to share, that when we fall short, it hurts us more than those we love. It hurts us more than others even realize. But we try to keep our chin up, right? We try to suck it up. We try to let people know, I don't hurt. I got this, right? Even when we don't. And then we get to the point where we have to be able to face ourselves as we are and accept that we need help and we have some work to do. See, the thing I want you to walk away with today is that if you ever make a mistake, you can come back from it. And if you pay attention to what I'm sharing, I believe it may help you decrease some of the future mistakes that you may make. Moreover, what happens here, after you leave, I want you to know that if you hold on to the 4 talents, integrity, intelligence, hard work, compassion. If you hold on to these talents, it will help you win through anything you face. It will help you. You are the answer to our problems that plague our communities today. You are the experts in the room. You're the one who recognize in what way the traps are set to be able to help others who are coming after you not make those same mistakes too. I believe in your ability to succeed because you are a person of worth and you have succeeded. I need you to see your success in which you have overcome by no fault of your own. As long as you have breath, you have hope. And hope is something to be treasured. Why? Because it will cause you to reframe your perspective, your thinking, and how you see things in a positive way that will protect you moving forward. Let me tell you a story. I remember when I was a little boy, my father took me to a cave that extended underground for about a mile. My father held a great torch, and I followed him carefully. While looking at the big shadows on the walls and listening to the echoes of our voices, at last we stopped by some rocks. My father showed me a tongue-shaped rock, about 2 feet thick, projecting from its shelf, a ledge above, from which water drops were dripping. After I saw one rock, I saw the other, where it was dripping onto. And he said to me, I have a question for you. You saw the drops from the ceiling, but did you see where it went? He looked at me and held up a torch to help me see better. It was dark. I noticed the drops of water falling on the rock and passing through it. I was curious because the rock was very thick. So I crawled under the rock to see what was going on. I saw that the rock was drilled through, and it had been 1 inch thick. My father asked me another question. He said, do you know what happened? I said, no. He said, think. I said, aha, I figured it out. The drops kept hitting the rock for centuries, and the water drilled through the rock. Yes, he said. I brought you here to see this fact and to learn a lesson. A concentrated thought in any direction, if continued, can do things that seem impossible. When we were just out of the cave, my father looked at me again and said, the power of thought and the secret of how to think. These are the keys to all locks. Do not forget, the weakest thing is a drop of water, but it can still drill through a rock. By the mere fact that you are here today, it shows that no matter how hard the task is that brought you here, your repeated efforts paid off. You didn't give up. There may have been times when you wanted to quit, but you didn't. There may have been times when you thought you were failing, but you wasn't. Today stands as evidence of your ability to succeed at whatever is in your heart that comes with thought and not quitting. You have inspired me, and I thank you. You have inspired us all, and we thank you. At this time, I would ask you to stand. Wait. As I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and if it applies to you, then I would like you to stand. Have you ever felt alone before? Have you ever felt overwhelmed before? Have you ever felt no one cared about you? Have you ever been hurt and thought you could not go on? Have you ever been intimidated or afraid? At this time, I would like to ask the audience to please stand if any of these things apply to you. Did you see? We all have gone through it. We all have experienced these things. It is no accident that despite these experiences that you have made it. As you look in the audience, you see your greatest fans. You see those who have worked tirelessly to support you with the best they have to give. You see some that may have got on your nerves too, right? You see some that you wish sometimes you didn't even have to see no more before this day, right? And then you also see those who you knew who you could turn to when you needed some compassion, when you needed an ear, when you needed someone to listen, when you needed someone that cared. We all know a secret together as a community that you have demonstrated that you hold within you everything you need to succeed. We all know also now that you realize you haven't done this alone. You didn't have to. And you don't have to move forward. The greatest secret that we all know, right? That this means that you have passed the test. you have graduated to the next stage in life. Be safe. In closing, let me make clear what the 4 talents are. Integrity. Integrity is doing what's right when no one is watching. Being who you say you are. Holding your principles. And you learn them through the worst periods and times of life. Because it's at our lowest that we find out who we really are. We find out what is really important to us. And we make a decision to stand for ourselves and not fall anymore. Intelligence is not about being the brightest, right? The smartest. It is about thinking things through. They say think as a man of action, but act as a person of thought. Intelligence is about being able to identify what the issue really is and where you can obtain the support you need to deal with it and continue to rise. Hard work is simply putting it in. That's what hard work is. Keep going at it, even when your body says I'm tired, even when you may seem to feel like you're not being successful. Hard work is getting up every day like you did and showing up. That's what hard work is. Never giving up on yourself. And finally, compassion. Compassion bespeaks of being kind to yourself and others and remembering that you are loved. I'll say that again. This is something that my mother shared with me. And she still shares whenever I may be feeling a little down. When we end the phone call. She said, son, remember, be kind and gentle to yourself. And remember, you are loved. No one is perfect, but you have been perfectly prepared for success. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It was very inspiring. At this time, I'd like to invite Leslie Disbrow up to present the Delisle Family Award. And Scott Winterburn.
Congratulations again to our wonderful 3 students. I'm very proud of all 3 of you. The Delisle Award each year is issued to a young person from Randolph Residential who is selected to receive the Delisle Family Award. The award was established by the Delisle family to recognize a young person from her participation in the fine or performing arts. Delisle's children grew up at Randolph Children's Home in the 30s and 40s, and they were especially active in the Children's Home Band. Although all have passed now, they were very grateful and spoke fondly of their time at Randolph Children's Home and the beautiful memories and friendships they have created here. They all went on to raise families and live successfully, and we're very proud to consider themselves alumni. The 2019 recipient of the Delisle Family Award is Joey Clone. Joey is an artist and was chosen because of her artistic interest. She is strong and kind and has an adventurous spirit. She will be pursuing a career in phlebotomy Once again, congratulations, George.
Each year, a young person from Randolph Residential is selected to receive the George Galilas Memorial Award. Mr. Galilas and his 4 sisters grew up at the Randolph Children's Home, and the sisters admired George because at a young age he showed a lot of responsibility and he grew to become a man of integrity. There's that word again. Mr. Galilas' family wanted his memory to live on and created an award in his memory to recognize one young person for progress and a positive attitude in the program. Samantha Lugo is the 2019 recipient of the George Galilas Memorial. Samantha has a friendly and upbeat personality, always has a smile, always stays positive and encouraging. She consistently upholds the norms and looks for opportunities to volunteer and help others. Congratulations, Sam.
Thank you. And our next scholarship is the Lester H. Sweeting Memorial Scholarship. I would like to invite Ms. Sharon House Sweeting up to the stage. She's going to come over right here to the edge.
I can't do steps without railings. This is a very happy reward for those of you who've been here. This is our 10th year. We've figured it out. My husband was Lester House Sweeting, and he lost his life 10 years ago in a collision. He fell asleep at the wheel of the car, and he hit a Randolph Academy school bus head-on. Mrs. Hitchcock was the driver. She kept the bus straight up, but he lost his life. And then people said to me, oh, he hit a school bus, you lose everything, they'll sue you. And they sent me flowers. This is just such a gorgeous place. And if I can just say a little bit about my husband, who was abandoned on a doorstep in Syracuse when he was 5 years old. He was never adopted. He had big ears. And nobody wanted an ugly kid, you know what I mean? And he grew up in a foster home. He lived there his whole life. His parents were lower middle class people, but he used to say they knew how to parent. They knew how to teach kids. They had 2 books in their house. They had a Bible and a dictionary. And he put himself through Syracuse University undergrad by working summers. He had a strong work ethic. And then he put himself through Syracuse Law School. And he was just, in the end of his life, he was an international tax consultant who had lived and worked all over the world. And so we started out with friends from Maryland before we moved up here to fund this award. And as I say, this is our 10th year. And the winner is?
Zane Kappelmeyer.
the Gary Archer Memorial Scholarship, and I would like to invite Mr. Jeremy Archer, the son of Gary Archer, to come up, along with Leslie Disbrow.
Each June, New Directions Youth and Family Services holds an annual golf tournament which raises money to fund scholarships for graduating seniors. The tournament honors former employees who have made an impact on others. A scholarship has been created to remember each person. Scholarships are used toward continuing education and related expenses. Here to present the 2019 Gary Archer Memorial Scholarship is Gary's son, Jeremy.
Gary Archer was a 38-year New Directions employee, a trustee with Randolph Historical Society, and a former judge for the town of Randolph. Gary's interests included spending time with his family, hunting, hiking, and playing with his dogs. I also share many of those interests, and apparently strong genetics. I've been told once or twice that I look and sound a little bit like sometimes from my wife. The Archer Memorial Scholarship is presented to a young person who holds a love for nature, perseveres, is determined, caring, and trustworthy. The 2019 recipient of the Archer Memorial Scholarship loves taking risks through adventures such as hiking, camping, backpacking, and whitewater rafting. This year's recipient is Joy Phillip.
Thank you. Our next awards are from the State of New York Office of the Attorney General. It's the Triple C Award, and this award will go to each one of our 3 graduates, Joey, Zane, and Sammy. And I'm going to share the letter from Attorney General Letitia James. It says, "Dear friends, I'm honored to join you in recognizing your students with my office's Triple C Award. This program was created to encourage our younger generation to fulfill their potential by celebrating students who have demonstrated courage, commitment, and character. Although I have only been Attorney General for a short time, this is one of the traditions that I'm most proud to continue. The end of the school year is a time of excitement, celebration, and reflection. I am a strong believer that children require support and praise in order to be successful. Receiving positive recognition from educators, parents, and other admirable individuals promotes enthusiasm and a desire to work hard to achieve their goals. Through the Triple C Award, I hope to not only motivate young people to do great things, but to also boost their self-confidence. As a proud fellow New Yorker, it's a privilege to have this opportunity to applaud this year's Triple C winners. Their tenacity, spirit, and determination to develop their minds and strengthen their characters inspires me. I know these qualities will enable today's students to stand out and succeed. Again, congratulations to all of 2019's Triple C winners, and thank you to the teachers, peers, and parents who assisted in making their success possible. I wish you all the very best, and I look forward to working with you to create a New York where all of your goals are achievable." So we have Joey, come on up, Zane, and Sammy. And as I read that, I really felt it deeply that it really applies to each one of these 3 people up here with me. Yes, I get to do this. And the next award, this is not in your agenda, It's 2 scholarships for academic excellence, and they are awarded to Joey Cologne, $500, Zane Keckelmeyer, $1,500. This scholarship can be used for full-time study in approved programs in New York State. Congratulations to both of you on this outstanding. At this time, the Randolph Academy Academic Achievement Awards in Science, Math, Language Arts, and Social Studies will be presented by our faculty. These awards recognize the highest grade point average of all of our graduates in 2019. All teacher presenters are invited to come to the podium at this time. And if you don't know who you are, we've got Kate, Josh, Mike, Jamie.
Good evening. I'm Ms. Ashesky, one of the science teachers here at Randolph Academy. First of all, I want to congratulate all of you sitting up here tonight. Getting through the last 4 years to graduate from high school is no small endeavor. All of you navigated through struggles and found the inner determination, plus the help of others to get you to this point today. So on behalf of the Science Department, Ms. McIntyre couldn't be here tonight. I have 3 awards. So the first one is for excellence in science. This person has demonstrated continual high marks in every quarter that they've been in science here at Randolph and in their previous academic history, sneak to the transcripts again. And also exemplified the norms of respect and safety in the science classroom. And this award goes to Zane. Second award goes to somebody who has kept a smile on their face and bounced back from challenges quickly. They have stuck with the class material, developed better note-taking and study skills, and try hard to finish whatever they start. Sammy, come here. Perseverance in science. Missed it. So the third award goes to somebody who has taken many science classes in their high school career and has excelled at all of them. For someone to do that, they need to work hard and you have what I call a science brain. That's a brain that is just picks up on logical stuff very quickly or is technically oriented. And using that skill can definitely be an advantage. So Zane. Thank you.
And now Mr. Whiteman will join us.
Good evening. My name is Josh Whiteman. I'm the high school English teacher here at Randolph Academy's Randolph campus. I want to start out by congratulating the 3 of you, Sam, Zane, and Joey. This is quite an accomplishment. You should be very proud of yourselves. I'm very happy for you. I enjoyed getting to know each of you this year, and I'm definitely going to miss having you in class next year. We had some fun times in ELA this year. We did some cool stuff. So, the best of luck to all of you. Giving out 2 awards tonight on behalf of the English department. The first award is the Perseverance in ELA Award. This award goes to students who showed resilience, determination, and hard work in order to find success in ELA. This student bounced back from previous struggles on the ELA Regents to earn an 88 on the ELA Regents this past January. The Perseverance in ELA award goes to Dylan Schloss, who unfortunately will be here tonight. And the second award is being given out to the recipient of the Excellence in ELA award. This award goes to a student who demonstrated great efforts in ELA, achieved high levels of academic success, demonstrated a passion for the material, and served as a leader in the classroom. This year's recipient of the Excellence in ELA award is Zane Kevin.
Social studies. Mr. Fitzgerald and Mr. Majeski.
So, I'm Michael Fitzgerald. I teach global studies here at Randolph Academy, and my partner in crime here, Matthew Majeski, teaches U.S. history, government, economics, plumbing, dog catcher, things of that nature. We go way back. We went to high school together, and so I feel pretty comfortable in talking for Matt and saying that we are probably two of the luckiest people in the building because we get to work with each other, which is awesome, and we get to work with kids like these on a daily basis, and I don't think that our lives would be the same if we weren't able to do that. The other stuff that, I mean, we love history. We love the fact that it's made up of so many different disciplines. We have, speaking in general, we have the ability to read and write and look at political cartoons. We can discuss things that are going on in the world today. And we get to tell stories. And some of my favorite stories that I get to tell are about people. And especially I like talking about people like the founder of the Han Dynasty in China, who was a mat weaver and a sandal maker. And through compassion and being able to work with others, he was able to build a coalition and ended up becoming Emperor of China. And you got stories like Joan of Arc, who was a teenage girl in France who was on a mission from God, and no one could tell her otherwise. And she never gave up to her last breath. And we also get to tell stories about people like Toussaint Louverture, who was a free man of color, who started a revolution and led to the end of colonialization and slavery in Haiti. And people like that, they showed perseverance all throughout their lives, just like our young people here and the rest of the students here in our program. And sorry. I just want to say before we go any further, I'm just really proud of all three of you, and what you do well with everything that you do. You've all shown great perseverance, and I like telling stories, but you guys get to make your own story. Right? So through your perseverance and through your hard work, you can tell the story same way you have. Enjoy it. You guys get to do that. Right? So.
Well, thank you. I can't really say much more than that, but the award that it goes to was someone I've had since I started. She was in my class the first day I was here. Since she's been gone, I can kind of hear again, so that's good. No more Mr. Mister, you guys. You know? But it really is, like Fitz said, it's going to be rough to see him go. You know, we've had some of these kids for 2 years. This one's for 3 years. You know, I'll probably get my hair back, so that'll be a good thing. But this one goes to Sammy Lugo, Perseverance in Social Studies. That's right, that happy face.
I put it in requisition for success.
And spell in half.
Hello, everyone. First off, I'd like to say congratulations to all our graduates. I, as well, have had the opportunity to work with each one of them in a class in some capacity. And the stories that I have are ridiculous with this group. I won't even go into all of them because you wouldn't even believe some of the conversations that have happened. I have the pleasure tonight to present the Outstanding Achievement in Math Award to one of the three up here. And the person that was chosen has always demonstrated our normative culture up here. Very responsible, respects peers, staff, willing to jump in, help whenever is needed. And so, one other side note, this will give it away. She has always had no problem helping me eat strawberries that I bring in on a daily basis. So I'm over close to Joey Cologne.
Did you give her her award? There you go. No wonder you look like those. Okay, congratulations to all of you. Well-deserved awards and scholarships. So now we're at the point where we'll be talking about presenting your diplomas, and I'd like to invite Dr. Olzak. I don't really have a bad memory. We just kind of switch a couple of things. And Dr. Olzak is going to help us to give out these diplomas. So while Dr. Olzak is going to be handing you the diploma, I'll be reading your name. And when your name is called, step forward and you can take your diploma for Dr. Olzak. Samantha Lugo. And you'll notice we got a nice envelope to put this inside, keep it in good shape. Okay. And our next diploma is for Joey Cologne. I don't think. We're up on stage, we're not always ourselves. And the next diploma is for St. Memorial. Thank you, Dr. Olzak. So you all have a hat on, and you have a tassel hanging from that hat. The graduation tassel is a symbol of success. Some believe the reason you place the tassel on the right is because you've earned the right to graduate. Moving the tassel to the left after graduation is symbolic of crossing over from high school to another stage in your life. Once graduation is over, be proud of your achievement and display your tassel as a reminder of how far you've come. By the power vested in me by the state of New York, I certify that you have completed all the requirements for graduation. I now pronounce you graduates. Please turn your tassels. Graduates, during your time here, you became leaders. You found your voices. You began to advocate for yourselves, and you learned how to trust. You participated in restorative circles and learned to repair the harm. You are prepared for the future, and we are so proud of you. Congratulations. At this time, the class of 2019 family and friends are invited to join us for a reception in honor of the graduates. And you can cheer all you want.